Hello there and welcome to episode 110 of Little Big Knits. My name is Selma. I'm coming to you from almost spring-like Ottawa. We're in March and the weather is starting to change a little bit. The temperatures are rising a little bit. We have had a cold winter, and so it's kind of nice to think that spring might just actually be around the corner. So anyway, hello and welcome. There are several new subscribers since the last time, so just wanted to welcome you to the podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to spend your time watching my podcast. Today, we've got knitting, and I've got a little bit more of the visible mending on my jeans to share with you. Of course, I have a hidden gems part 4. I think we're at. We've got 3 designers to share with you today, as well as a couple of acquisitions and a discount code to share with you. So welcome. Let's get started. Just want to mention that we have 2 make-alongs. We've got the LBK Shop Your Stash 2025, which is, I'll put the hashtag down here, which you can use on Instagram as well. Apparently you can't follow hashtags anymore, but if you type in the hashtag, you can see what people are doing there. So I've been going in and checking things out, and if you tag me, I'll also get to see your work. And so that is about shopping your stash, anything that you bought or received or have in your stash, whether it be yarn, fiber, fabric from 2024 and before. So anything before December 31st of 2024. And then the other one that we have is the LBK Hidden Gems 2025. And this is really about knitting and crochet. And it's about knitting from designs that have less than 50 projects. They can be designers who tend to have less projects, but they can also be lesser known designs from more well-known designers. That's acceptable too, as long as the designs are already a few months old. You know, some designers tend to have hundreds of projects within the first 3 months, so we wouldn't want to use those. We want to highlight designs and designers that are less known with this one. And I have to say that if you go into the Ravelry group, there is a lot of action happening with these 2 make-alongs. So fun to see people excited about these. And I think we're all enjoying using materials that we already had and finding and learning about some hidden gems that are out there. Also, we have the Kofi and Patreon that you can join, whether as a free member or a paid member. Please feel free to check either one of those out. On Kofi, you're really just buying a coffee to support the podcast. And on Patreon, you are sort of joining a community in a sense. So thank you so much to those of you who've chosen to support the podcast that way. Also, a heartfelt thank you for all the lovely comments that you leave me every time. I so enjoy going through them and either just hearting them or responding in some way. I really enjoy. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with them, but I do my best. So I really enjoy that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your likes. Let's get going. So, what am I wearing today? Not something that's recently finished. I finished this in 2024, and this is, of course, the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose. And this is one that I made in Sadness Garantunline, which is a cotton linen and viscose yarn, fingering weight. And I paired it with a Biche et Bûche mohair silk yarn, and one was a little bit more taupey and the other was just a very pale peach. In fact, I think the mohair was called Very Pale Peach, and they sort of helped to create this rather warm beige kind of color, and it's just really lovely. I love this pattern. As you know, I've made many, and I think I have an episode 100 I think was about the Ranunculus. It's just a fabulous sort of everyday kind of sweater. I have been considering, Mega of Skeins of Dreams one day said, why don't you turn it into a dress? Because I'd been talking about wanting to make a ranunculus dress, and she said, why don't you turn this one into a dress? And I thought, That's a good idea. So it may happen. We'll see if it becomes, you know, an actual item, or if it comes to fruition, or if it just remains a lovely idea. But I have thought that I think I have enough yarn to turn it into a dress. Not 100% sure. I think I have enough of the tunlina. I may have 2 balls left, but I'd have to get more of the mohair. That's not a big deal. It might be enough to turn it into a dress. We'll see if that happens this year. I don't know. But I really enjoy it as a sweater, and I like to wear it with this sort of Henley sleeveless top that I have. So I might just keep it like this. We'll see what happens, but this is what I'm wearing today. My first finished object for today, well, actually my only finished object for today, is the Pelto Collar. I finished this, and it smells really good because I washed it in some wool wash. I use the, oh my gosh, Pear Wool, I think it's called. It's a German brand of wool wash. And because I used, so let me talk about the yarns first. I used Holstgarn Super Soft, which is not super soft when you first work with it. It's quite ropey, and that's because it still has a lot of the spinning oils in it. And then I used Rowan Kid Silk Haze. The Holstgarn was in the color Thistledown, and I don't know what the Rowan was, a similar kind of purple. And I have to say, I wanted to soak it for a long time in a soapy liquid to get the oils out of the Holstgarn to soften it up, and it really worked. It created a very, very lovely squishy fabric. So I definitely have to say that I'll put pictures up there in a moment so you can see it with my coat, but it made me want a turtleneck. It turned out really, really nicely, and we're going into spring, so I'm not quite sure how much wear I will get out of this at this time, but I'm very much looking forward to having it next year for the winter. It just is beautiful, and it's longer. I had made this kind of a dickie last year, but it ended up being quite short, and it's still great, and I've used it a lot. But it's nice to have one that's a little bit longer. So I'll show you a couple of pictures of me here with it in my coat, and my navy coat, and I think it's going to be great. And there's just, it's a lovely design. I have to say I really enjoyed making this once I got over my initial dislike of this dip stitch. I think once I got to about here, I was like, okay, I'm starting to enjoy this a little more. Once I got into the rhythm of it, it was actually much faster. And it's not that it's hard, it just, at first, I don't know, I just didn't like it a whole lot. Now I could see myself incorporating it more into my knitting. But it's got this on the front, and then it's got this sort of a brioche type of stitch on the back, a sort of a brioche rib. So it's got 2 pearls and then that. And then the collar, which is almost, I didn't make mine fully 10 inches long, but it's close to that. And it's a 2x1 rib, and it's just wonderful. Yeah, just really nice. And she actually has you reverse it at one point so that what you see down here and what you see here are the same. So that was a very good idea. So it's just really lovely. I enjoyed making it a lot, and I thought maybe I should just turn, you know, this into a sweater and make a sweater, but I don't know, some other color perhaps, but it is really beautiful. Very happy. So this is the Pelto Collar by Jenny Ansa. Came out in 2021, so about 4 years ago, and I think I bought the pattern not long after it came out because I wanted to make it, and it took me a while to finally get to it, but very, very happy to have finally made it. So let's move on to works in progress. Last time I told you that I was going to be swatching and casting on with two yarns or two different combinations to make two sweaters. So I was going to use this beautiful combination of tuka wool and I think this is drops mohair, which was creating this amazing rich purple color. I was going to make the Siri cardigan by Lena Holma Samso. So I was going to start that for sure. And then I was also going to be swatching, oh, this has become, oh my gosh, this is a complete and utter mess here. This is Pelto Collar with some Isager Alpaca 1. And somehow everything got all mixed up here, but I was swatching with this, with the idea that I would make the Kinneret sweater by Masha Ziablikova, I believe, which was just a really nice, simple raglan sweater that I've had in my library for a little while. And neither of those got cast on because Annina of Anni Jutinits, and I highlighted her work last time, she had a test call for a sweater called Hunaja. I'll show you a picture of it here, which she published in a Finnish magazine. I think it was Taito. She was modifying a few little details in it and then was going to reissue it as a paid for pattern on Ravelry. When she first showed this sweater, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I thought, okay, when she finally releases it, I'm making it. So when she came out with the call for the test knit, I was like, me please. So that has taken precedence. Now I haven't gotten very far on it for a couple of reasons. One, because I really wanted to finish the Pelto Collar, so I thought I would wait. And then I also made a mistake and found out that I had twisted the whole thing and I had to rip back and start again. So I haven't gotten particularly far in this beautiful, beautiful gray color. I've gotten to the first row of this fancy little kind of dip stitch, like, not really. It's sort of the semi-bobbly, flowery kind of stitch. It might have a name and I just don't even know. But I'm really excited about having this, and I think it'll be a lovely, spring sweater because it's a fingering weight and it'll be a bit lighter, and it'll be nice for the cooler spring days because spring here, you just never know what you're going to get. It can be quite cool at times and rainy, and so I feel like you still need warmth, but not too warm. So I think this is going to be beautiful, and I just love the yarn that I chose. The yarn that I chose is, oh dear, what was it called? I've got the tag here. It's Yarn Citizen Harmony Fingering in the granite colorway. And this is essentially an alpaca, 50-pack alpaca, 50 wool made in Peru. And it's using sort of the thrown away alpaca fibers that are not used. So it's recycled alpaca, and that's my understanding. And it's in my cake came out totally wonky. Don't understand what happened, but it's in this beautiful, beautiful light blue, kind of grayish light blue color. And so I'm very, very excited about this. And so I had to drop the other ones because I needed to make this. So I'm not quite sure when I will get to those. It depends how excited I get about spring knitting and getting into the more plant-based fibers for the spring and summer. But for now, I'm going to start dedicating my time to mostly working on this. We don't have to have the sweater finished by the end of March, but we need to have the yoke and all the increases done. So that will definitely happen, and hopefully I'll be going down the body by the end of March, and maybe even be close to getting the sleeves done. We'll see how much I'm able to work on it. But yeah, really, really excited to be making that sweater because as soon as I saw it, I just thought, I really love that sweater. I had also thought about making it in a mustard-like color, but the one that I chose, the one that I have, and I wanted it to be something woolly because I do have a brighter yellow, but it's a superwash, was this Shetland yarn by Casasol, which was a gift when I was in Barcelona. And from Lisa, and who has the podcast. What has she called her podcast? I will link her podcast down below. I love watching Lisa. She's a fellow Canadian but lives in Spain. And we met up when I went to Barcelona in November of 2023. And she gave me this lovely yarn. But I had not thought about this yarn being up at my face. I had thought about there being other colors. So when I put that there, I was like, I really want to like that, but I don't think it's quite. I think I need something else here with it. It's not the best color right up against my face like that. So I ended up going with this one instead. And I'm very happy, and I'm very looking forward to it. So, and it is in this lovely bag that is by a local maker, Jenny. Oh my gosh, my brain is not working today. She doesn't have her tag here, does she? Yes, she does. Jenna Rose, that's right. I have quite a few of her bags actually, and I usually know her name very well. Love her work. She screen prints and makes the bags and buckets and baskets and other beautiful things, tea towels. Just love her work, and her shop will be linked below as well. So yeah, so that is the first work in progress. The second one is the last pair of socks for the last team member. I mentioned this to you last time. I think I had just started the socks. I have finished the first one in the Patons Kroy, the ragdoll colorway, blue ragdoll I believe it's called, and I am on the foot of the second sock. So these will definitely be done by the next podcast. I work on these when I just, need to bring something quick somewhere, when I'm visiting my mom, for example, or at a, an appointment or so forth. So that's the second one. This is in a bag that I made a while ago. And then the last work in progress is still the jeans that I showed you last time. I haven't actually finished. I'm using this Sachiko thread that I actually got on Amazon. There was a package of 4 or 5 different blues, and it has been a great packet. They are 100% cotton from Japan, and there's no actual brand name that I can read anyway, but I've really enjoyed working with those. And I am working on, you'll recall that I did this last time. I'm now working on the bum. That looks a lot brighter on here than it does in real life, but I put on this patch and I'm just doing some random stitching on it. Just very random. I've even already been wearing them without having finished the stitching. Yeah, so I've just been sort of working on that. Once I finish the stitching on this patch here, then I'm going to consider it a finished object for now. And then once there's something else I need to fix, then it'll become a work in progress again. This was some, I think, cotton sateen from a pillowcase that had been my mother's pillowcase in her house. And I thought, I'm never going to use it. I don't think she ever used it. She bought it and didn't use it. And I just really liked the colors, and even though it looks brighter on screen than it is in real life, I just thought it'll be a good fabric to have there, and it seemed to be the best object, the best one from the possibilities that I had. So yeah, just working on those, really enjoying that project, and little by little working on that. So I just also wanted to mention something. Last time I had a couple of comments, well, actually more than a couple of comments. I had a few comments about my Drevo, which was this sweater here, and the fact, because I had sort of wondered if it was the right length a little bit and so forth, about the fact that, because it had bamboo and alpaca, that it would surely stretch. And I've heard this often said about alpaca that alpaca will stretch, but oddly, that is not my experience at all, actually. I don't think I've ever had anything that I have made out of alpaca that has stretched. And I was looking through my Ravelry projects, and I've made quite a few garments, including my Evening Dew cardigan here, which is made out of Persimmon Tree Farms alpaca. They're actually, I think they work more with mohair, and they tend to have very sort of quite bright and almost gaudy dyeing in a way, like really variegated, really bright. But they had, and I bought this at Rhinebeck, and I bought 2 quantities because I made the Evening Dew, but I also made this vest at one point by Elizabeth Smith, something Hill, I can't remember the name of it exactly. And these are both made out of the Persimmon Tree Farms alpaca, and neither of them has stretched. They've maintained their shape. And I've made other things that have some alpaca in them, and I've never had this experience. So I know that it happens, and I do wonder if it is a little bit related to how the alpaca has been milled, and perhaps, you know, if what fibers they're using from the alpaca. But I made this deco cardigan from Kate Davies that has other fibers in it, but it's got quite a lot of alpaca. It wasn't the best yarn for this cardigan because it's pilled horribly. But, and if you want to check these projects out a little bit more, you can always go to my Ravelry page and look them up. But it's kept its shape pretty much. I wouldn't make anything very structured with a pure alpaca yarn, but so far I haven't had that experience. I've never worked with 100% bamboo yarn, and I can imagine if you worked with 100% bamboo that would indeed stretch. I have worked with bamboo combined with other things like cotton. I've made children's garments out of the king cole bamboo cotton. I made this little top here, for example. I made it 2 or 3 times actually for different people, and they always kept their shape. And I think I've used other yarns beyond the one that I used for the Drebo that had bamboo, and I've never had that experience. So I think it probably depends on, you know, the quantity of bamboo, and again, you know, how it's being milled. So it's unfortunate if we do have those experiences where things have really, really stretched out. But so far, that has not been my experience. I also wonder if the gauge at which one would knit it, that would have an impact on whether it will stretch or not. If it's quite a tight gauge, I don't see why it would. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up from the last podcast. And I haven't actually worn my Drebo a lot because in February I had the challenge of wearing a different sweater every day. So I only ended up wearing it once. I think I might have ended up wearing it twice. Anyway, so not enough to really see if anything's going to happen with it. But I don't get the sense that it's going to stretch. It certainly didn't stretch at all when I wet it and dried it. It stayed pretty much exactly the same. So I have a couple of acquisitions that I wanted to mention. First, my friend Sue is doing a little bit of culling and destashing, and she gave me this set of Knitter's Pride, what do you call these? You know, needle set. And which is great because it's nice to have an additional one to carry around easily and so forth. So that was really great. Thank you so much for that, Sue. I also have received 2 gifts from lovely dyers that I wanted to mention. So the first one is Carly Page, it's the Carly Page Fiber Company. That's also her name is Carly Page, I believe. And she sent me this wonderful 100% blue face Leicester sock yarn that is naturally dyed, and she's called this one Pear. And she is located in Alberta, Canada. So just really, really lovely. Thank you so much for reaching out and sending me this beautiful, beautiful yarn. So yeah, please do check her out. the Carly Page Fiber Company. The second one that I received was a lovely gift from Redwood Yarn. She has these sock yarns that are superwash, and this is a 75%, 25% DK weight. And this is the Augusta Lavender colorway. And I'm really excited to have some DK socks. So she sent this along to me. Thank you so much, Alice, for that. She is located in North Bay, California. She also sent me another skein of this beautiful sport weight yarn, which is a 75% superwash Corriedale and 25% nylon. And I'm going to be keeping this as a prize for one of our make-alongs for the end of the year. So I'll be accumulating prizes for those two make-alongs. And if you happen to be a maker and want to donate something, very, very happy to receive it. In fact, I've received a couple of messages from people donating prizes, and I'll be mentioning those all together at one point. I have to get myself a little bit organized for that. But I just thought I'll mention this one because it's there. Now, Alice is also offering viewers of the podcast 20% discount until the end of March 2025. It's a 20% discount with the code SELMA20. So feel free to go and check out her stuff and purchase something with that code, and you'll get 20% off. She is also offering 3 sock patterns to viewers. So I will be drawing from the comments below for the next podcast. So if you leave a comment below about anything you like regarding the podcast, as I said, people comment all the time. So feel free to say hello below, and your comment will be entered as a potential for a prize for one of her sock patterns. I'll draw those next time, and then you'll be in touch with her for that. So thank you for that gift as well, Alice. So that was really lovely. Lovely gifts to receive from people who have watched the podcast as well. All right, let's talk about our hidden gem designers for today in part 4 of Hidden Gem Designers. I am excited to share with you 3 designers today. Let's start with the first one, and the first one is Gabrielle Vézina. Gabrielle is a French-Canadian designer from Montreal. She has 1 page of designs, and I've been following her work for a while. She is, I would call her work kind of a cozy elegance. They're just really, really lovely, very accessible patterns. And I have chosen, in the end, I've chosen 2 color work patterns out of the 3 because I just could not mention those. So the first one I wanted to mention is the Gardenium sweater. And this is a DK weight color work sweater that has really called my attention multiple times when I've looked at her work. There are 10 sizes ranging between 37 inches and 66 inches. And it's just a beautiful kind of graphic, but I love the fact that she's using the different colors here. And it's just a really, really lovely sweater. She has a nice mix of different types of patterns on her page. And she has a couple that are more popular for sure, but the vast majority are not. As you know, they're not beyond the 50 projects on Ravelry. The next sweater is the Fluorescence sweater. This is a lovely design that has a simple body but has a lace detail on the sleeve, which is very, I'm seeing that a lot these days, and it's just a beautiful top that combines fingering with a cashmere lace to create a DK weight. So you could just use a DK weight yarn. It ranges from sizes 34 to 58. And yeah, I just love the sleeve detail on this one. It's really, really very, very pretty. And the last one is called the Fall Medley Sweater. And I really wanted to choose something different than another colorwork sweater, but my eye just kept going back to this one on her page. So I thought, okay, I'll just give in and I'll show 2 colorwork sweaters from her page. She does have a variety of things though, so please check those out. This is also a DK weight colorwork sweater ranging from sizes 37 to 67 inches. And the colorwork is just so striking on this one. As well, I just wanted to share it. I just think you could do such beautiful things with this sweater, with the color work on here. You could make it really subtle and beautiful as well. You could make it more graphic with like black and white or charcoal and white, but you can also add different colors in there to make it more playful. So 3 of the sweater patterns from Gabrielle Vézina from Montreal. The second designer is Natalia Pelykh. Natalia is a Ukrainian designer. She has 4 pages of designs. She's prolific. She's been around for a while. And her designs, I would say, are more into the ornate elegance. There is a lot of lace, a lot of cables, and full-on lace and full-on cables. She tends to make things that are really good for the whole family. So, you know, a design that's meant for females will be good from small child all the way to adult. Same for any designs that are male designs. And she has beautiful sweaters for men, I must say. Really, really lovely. And so she tends to design for the entire family, which is great. She does have a lot of garments, but she also has a lot of accessories like hats and mittens and things like that as well. And yeah, her stuff is just elegant. And I have to say, I think it was this dress that I'm going to show you guys that really made me go, okay, wait a second, I really need to be paying attention to this person's work because it is stunning. So the dress I want to share with you is this dress that I think is called stezka. Was that how you'd pronounce that? It's a linen dress with a 22 stitch gauge, although I think she's using Lithuanian linen and double stranding it. And she has adult sizes, our children's sizes, all the way up to adult sizes. So if you look through the projects, you'll see that there are versions for children as well as for women. And it looks good on everybody. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I thought I would love to make that at some point. So let's see if I get to it. And what I liked is that in the projects that I saw, there are people who are of different sizes. So it was nice to see that and see how different people were styling it. I would like to find a really nice, simple sort of shift type of thing, either in cream or in black that I could wear under a dress. Like even if I turned this into a dress, I would want something underneath it, of course, like a nice cotton, simple type of dress or undergarment that I could wear. But anyway, back to this dress, the stezka, absolutely beautiful, and it gives you a flavor of her aesthetic. The next one is called The Theory of Braids. And this is another one that I have thought is really, really beautiful. And although it is modeled here on a male figure, I think it could also be made for a female. And again, from children to adults. And here we've got sort of a classically beautiful sweater that is just full on cables all the way around with a lovely saddle shoulder construction, I believe. Just really, really beautiful. And the last one, I decided to choose something that wasn't a garment, is called the Old Town Story Hat. And it is a very beautiful sort of slouchy fingering weight cable hat. And this one also comes in various sizes. I can't remember exactly how many there are, but at least 6, so that it can be made for a small head all the way up to, a larger one. So, and also just full of cables. But I thought this would be really, really beautiful. So that is just a slight flavor of this person's work. A lot of her work is made with linen, actually. So there's a lot of just very gauzy tops, really beautiful. So if you're looking for something for the upcoming warmer season, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, then you might want to check out her work. Very beautiful. The last one is also a fellow Canadian, and this is Anna Daku. Anna comes from the western part of the country. I believe she's in Alberta, if I remember correctly. She has 2 pages, sort of 1.5 pages of patterns. And she also has things that are for the whole family. So the first one that I wanted to choose from Anna's work, and her work, I would say, is kind of like Gabrielle Vézina's. It's sort of like in the cozy elegance, just lovely everyday items, coziness, and you'll see one of them that's just like ultra cozy. But the one that I wanted to start with is her Imogen collection, which is a beautiful, beautiful collection of color work. There are mittens or fingerless mitts, a hat, and a cowl, with lovely color work on them, made out of sport or heavy fingering weight. And again, there are sizes for the entire family in this collection. The one that's super cozy is her homegrown hoodie. And it's the homegrown hoodie my size, because she does have a children's version as well. And I believe that this could probably be a unisex pattern as well. And it is sort of, she's calling it a compound raglan, but when I look at it, to me, it looks like a saddle shoulder construction. So I feel like I'm not sure about all these terms, but anyway, she's calling it compound, I'm calling it saddle shoulder. But it's just got a beautiful detail here, nice construction with a hood. It's an 18 stitch gauge. She has used sport weight yarn with lace weight fingering, lace weight mohair. Comes in 9 sizes from 36 to 68. So ultra, ultra cozy. Now, considering that we are going into the warmer season here in the Northern Hemisphere, I thought I would bring in something that was more summery, and this is her lovely tank called the Mala Top. And this has a lovely construction, simple construction with a very pretty, simple lace detail that goes up the front and up the sides of the shaping of the tank. She has used a sport weight for this, I believe, at 26 stitch gauge, so you could very easily use a fingering weight as well. And this also has 9 sizes from 34 inches to 60 inch bust. So a lovely, lovely top for the summer that you could probably use 2 skeins of fingering weight and get a lovely top out of it. This is actually making me think a little bit. It is really lovely. So yes, lovely work from Anna as well. So there you go. Those are our 3 hidden gems for today. And I had been asked to highlight some Canadians, so there are a couple of Canadians for you. And I hope you enjoyed the Hidden Gems Part 4. Let's see who we've got for next time. So just to end the podcast, I thought I'd mention a little bit about some of my favorites from the last little bit, not in terms of knitting, but in terms of media, and tell you a little bit about my challenges and how they have gone. So I thought, okay, what has really stood out to me over what I have been, enjoying in terms of media over the last month or two? And I came up with 3 things. The first one is a show on Netflix called The Diplomat. They came out with a 2nd season. I ended up rewatching the 1st season because I couldn't remember anything that had happened. And then watching the 2nd season, and it was a binge watch for sure. And it's such a good show. I really, really enjoyed it. Great acting from the main actors, and just a really well put together show. Fast paced, so you definitely want to be paying attention. Otherwise, you're like, wait a second, why are they doing that? But I really enjoyed that. I have watched some movies as well, but there's nothing that I really, really feel like is standing out to me. Probably the most would be Emilia Perez, which was nominated for some Oscars as well as Golden Globes and possibly SAGs as well, which is a really interesting movie. made me think a lot about Almodovar, which is a Spanish director. There was definitely an Almodovar quality to it. It is a story that takes place in Mexico, with sort of among the drug lords sort of world, with somebody who is trans. It's a musical. Zoe Saldana won the Best Supporting Actress for it. She did a fabulous job. She was absolutely amazing in it. I can't say I loved the movie, but it definitely left an impression on me because there was something, it was really interestingly made. I know that the movie itself had some controversy around not choosing enough Mexican actors. And there were also some other controversies around comments that one of the actors made and so forth. I still think it was an interesting movie. I wouldn't say that it was a favorite, but it has stayed with me, so I'll just give that one a quick mention. The other two are music. I went to the National Arts Centre, which is our sort of, opera house here in Ottawa, if you want to call it that, when did I go? Was it January? Or at the very, very beginning of February, to see a music duo, Omar Sosa, who is a Cuban musician, with Saku, who is a Senegalese musician. It was actually an ad on Instagram. I keep getting these ads on Instagram for music and such happening at the National Arts Centre. And I wrote my friend, I'm like, this looks great. Do you want to go? So we went. It was a fabulous concert. These two musicians were unbelievable together. And they have an album together called Suba. So I've been listening to it all the time. The album is much more low key than their concert was. They had everybody standing at the National Arts Centre, which is pretty unusual. People tend to sit in their seats and they might move around a bit, but they had the entire audience standing on their feet, dancing, clapping, doing all kinds of things. It was more upbeat. Their album is a little bit more low key, but I love it. I just love that album and listen to it all the time. The other artist that I've been finding myself wanting to listen to all the time is a relatively new artist called Lola Young. She's a British singer, and if you're on Instagram at all, you will have heard her song called Messy in a lot of reels because it's totally taken off. I saw a clip of her performing on Jimmy Fallon, I think it was, and I was like, who is that? And I went straight to iTunes, and I just keep listening to her music all the time. Love the song Messy, but she has other ones that are just beautiful. One's called Blind Love. She's got Conceited. But I just love listening to her music. So I find myself listening to her music in the car all the time. So just wanted to mention those two artists as well. A viewer recently mentioned an artist to me from Tennessee, but who is of Liberian descent, called Monrovia. So thank you very much for that. I have been listening to him as well and getting to know his music. I really appreciated that suggestion. So those are the favorites of recent times. Just a quick note on challenges before I leave you today. So in February, I had initially given myself 2 challenges. The first one was to clean every day, which I promptly dropped because I realized it's not going to happen. I just had way too much going on. And I just didn't have the energy. I've not been doing particularly well with my legs, and actually recently had an MRI, and there's going to be stuff happening, and I've been really, really struggling. I've been dealing with a lot of pain, and so a lot of February was about pain management. I just thought, well, this was not a very realistic goal for me at this point, so I thought that's fine, let's just drop it. But I did do my wearing a different garment every day challenge, and that was a lot of fun. And I ended up doing a little bit of video every day on what I wore. So I'll be sharing that at the end of the podcast. That'll be the footage for today. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen my reel, but I thought I'll share that with you because honestly, I'm just not out and about these days. So I'm not getting a lot of wonderful walks in with a lot of beautiful footage, unfortunately. So I'll leave you with that for today. For March, I have 2 challenges. My challenge is to give at least one compliment every day to somebody. Ideally in a face-to-face context, but if it's written, that's okay too. I find it's very easy, especially, I find with knitters, I'm constantly saying, that looks amazing, you did a beautiful job. I'm constantly giving compliments, but I thought I want to make sure I'm also giving compliments to the people that I see in my daily life. So that's one challenge, which was a lovely idea from a patron on Patreon. And the other one is to go through my father's slides. I have my father's slide projector. My father passed away in 2018. And I have, I think, 10 or 12 of the round carousels that are just full of slides. So my goal is to go through that, print the slides, hopefully just a few that I think are really, really necessary to keep. And then I will be getting rid of the rest. It's time to allow that projector and to move on, and those slides to move on as well. So those are my 2 challenges for March. So that is it for today, friends. I'll be leaving you with a little video, and then they're going to be vertical as opposed to landscape because I did them specifically for Instagram. But I'll be leaving you with that, with some music, and we'll see you next time.
I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete. I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day. No matter what anyone does or say, I smile at fools. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop, I won't slow down. Steady on my feet, I'm gonna rise up. No, I won't stop, it is my time. Cause I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. I'm strolling down the street with all of my favorite songs on repeat. I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way, and I don't care if you spill coffee on me or if the sky is gray or blue. No, I don't care, cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop, I won't slow down. Steady on my feet, I'm gonna rise up. No, I won't stop, it is my time. I know what it's like to be broke, yeah. I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. To be broken, and I know what it's like when nothing goes your way. So I'm just gonna let myself enjoy the fruit from this lucky day. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down, cause I am on my way up, I won't slow down. Yeah, I am on my way up, I won't slow down. I am on my way up, I won't slow down.